Good evening and welcome to what's the first of our fireside chats here on the Chesterfield sofas. Joining me this afternoon to my right is Barry Bryant, course superintendent, Damian Hine, head chef, James Gold, food and beverage manager, and last but not least, the Diamond, Ray Diamond, our golf operations manager. So a couple of weeks back, we gave members the opportunity to send forward through via a link to all of us a series of questions that they may want asked. One of the things that we've really tried to improve on here at Mount Osmond Golf Club is the transparency around the information we share with you through the year, but also give you the chance more directly as members to ask us questions ordinarily you wouldn't feel comfortable to ask at an AGM or one-on-one. So we were hoping for a slightly better response rate than we had for a club that's got almost 1,300 members. I think we only received about 13 questions. So what we're going to do is go through each of those questions in this chat, but then also elaborate on a few more details around some of those questions. So we're going to start with question number one. This is kind of geared to Ray Diamond, our golf ops manager. This is about it's about the competitions played throughout the course of the year, the prize money given out from the club to members, and a little bit more detail. It's from Ian Seaborn. It's quite a detailed question with many layers to it, but essentially what it boils down to is he's slightly disappointed by how much the club pays out in relation to how much he's worked out we as a club take from competition fees. So there's quite a few errors in his question. But without getting too personal, we're going to hand the mic now to Ray just to go into a little bit more detail around how it's actually working here at Mount Osmond Golf Club.
Thanks, Ian, for your question. It's important to look at the figures as a whole for the whole year and not take out figures in isolation. So what I've done here is I've brought the figures for the last 2 financial years to give you the whole number. And as an industry standard, a club looks to retain around the 40% mark. Here at Mount Osmond, we are looking to strive for a 30% mark. So we're a lot more generous than most of our fellow courses in the area. And for the last 2 years, we have retained a net rate of 32% and 31% respectively. This includes all the trophies for the year, not just the daily competition. So for example, that includes club championships and the other major trophies. The second part of your question asks, what does the surplus get used for? Well, it doesn't go into other areas of the club to prop it up. It is fed directly back into the golf operations department. The cost of doing business currently is through the roof. As an example, the My Club subscription alone is just shy of $30,000 per year. Having strong surpluses allows us to provide the services that the club and members expect. An example of that is being able to have a paid course marshal. This all puts downward pressure on members' competition fees, members' subscription, and the costs and goods of services provided in the pro shop.
Okay, so we're on to question 2 now. Ray, thanks for answering the first one in Seaborn. The second one is from Rick Stone. Rick Stone is someone whose opinion I value greatly. He's a great supporter of the club, and he often comes with some great ideas. I actually wanted him to run for Match and Grounds. I'm hoping he still will one day, because I think he'll be a great addition to the committee. But anyway, Rick's got a few questions. Why can't we have different formats on Tuesday and Thursday like the ladies do on a Wednesday? So I'm just going to hand the mic back to Ray, and then I'll chime in a little bit later.
Thanks, Rick, for your question. Watch this space. We're actually ahead of you on this one, and there is a better ball format coming next month.
Yeah, so there's definitely some exciting competition formats coming in due course. From Ray's side and from my side, we've definitely highlighted it at Match and Grounds that it's become quite static in terms of the competition formats played here at Mount Osmond Golf Club, and it's been a process of subtly bringing in change. A lot of our members have been playing the same formats week in, week out, and change to them can be quite scary and not only scary but also unknown, and it makes them feel silly if they are introduced to a new competition format that they don't quite understand. So, a couple of competition formats we're going to be bringing in over the incoming months will be a Super Six, which is six multiply, six combined, six bettable, combined Staplefords, some multipliers, some regressive and progressive alliances, and also things like max stroke, par, are already being played on Saturday. So having that gradually filter into other days of the week is definitely on the card. So one of Rick's next questions is: a month ago we had nearest to the pin on Thursday. Why don't we have it now? So just to answer that question straight off the bat, we are going to have nearest to pins on Thursday, provided that the field numbers are at a size that justifies nearest to pins. Moving forward, Ray's probably going to move towards having Thursday as just an officially announced competition day for the week. I don't know if you want to say anything further on that point, Ray.
Thanks, Damian. As I mentioned in my Oracle article a few months ago when we launched the max score and the nearest to pins for Thursday, that we would look at pulling them back in the depths of winter, but bringing them back when the weather improves. So they'll be back in play pretty soon as we break the back of winter.
Okay, the next question is for Barry, also from Rick. When are the bunkers going to be completed? So, kind of a loose question because are we looking at drainage? Are we looking at design construction? Are we looking at shallowing out the entry and exit points? Or are we referring to sand consistency in isolation? So, um, I suppose, Barry, it's a lot more complex than that. I don't know if you want to just go into some of those details.
Yeah, it is a complex question. I mean, there's a lot to do with bunkers. They're a hazard, but we spend most of our time doing bunkers more so than greens. So, look, we've got a plan in place to kind of look at the entrance and exits to bunkers. We've been topping up bunkers periodically over the winter. We've just finished edging and kind of flattening our bases of them, so they should kind of come up a bit better as the weather improves.
Yeah. So just to add to Barry's point, for me, obviously the main point of concern around our bunkers, other than the obvious of entry and exit being really steep, is obviously having sand consistency, not in terms of like depth levels, but sand type. So one of the things we had to do when our current quarry ran out of sand was we had a source of sand that was as close to the original sand profile that we could get. So Barry's sampled many different sand types. We've had a lot of player feedback. We've now finally settled on a sand type that we will roll out through all 18 holes. But if we could just ask for patience from members for the rollout of a task and a project of that size. Can you imagine? It's thousands and thousands of tons of sand that need to be moved onto the golf course. We definitely can't do it through the winter months when the course is soft. On top of that, we also have a team on the golf course of seven, which includes a part-time diesel mechanic 3 days a week. So when we roll out projects like the chipping green that's just recently been completed below the pro shop, and when we plan to roll out our upgraded putting green, it really, really exhausts all resources or limited resources into those areas. So, although for many of you the bunkers is a high priority, we just ask that you be patient and really just allow us the time we require to work through our priorities list as is directed from the board to us as operational staff. All right, the next question is from David Gary. I have noted of late that there has been a major increase in bottled wine prices over the bar, and that members are opting to bring their own wine and pay the BYO levy. As an example, Toysner the Ribkey is about $25 at wine shops, but sells for about $55 over the bar at the club. I note recently that if you bought 4 glasses individually, the total is less than $55. This may have been rectified. Perhaps retain the new pricing for non-member events and have an automatic discount applied to the member purchase through their account. Just a thought. So for this one, I'm going to hand over to James Gold, our food and beverage manager.
Thank you for your question, David. So with the Toysner Ribkey Shiraz in question, there are 4 glasses that you've noted, but in a bottle you actually get 5 glasses, so that does go above the bottle price of $55. If you buy it at a bottle shop, they do get better discounts than what we get here because they're buying in major supply. So if we do look into getting a multi-level or 2-tiered pricing, that would be very logistical, and we'd have to run it through the finance and also my suppliers to try and get a better discount for everyone, and that's what I'm trying to do with all of our wines.
Yeah, also the standard rule of thumb, what's taught through, club management and basically the running of clubs, food and beverage departments is, wine's typically marked up between 100 and 150%. So I don't think our wine's expensive at Mount Osmond Golf Club. It's obviously going to be more expensive than buying a bottle from Dan Murphy's or your corner bottle Lowe's. So things that, drive that price are obviously, you're having it poured in a crystal glass, you're having a friendly member of staff serve it to you. You've got an environment that's cooled or warm depending on the time of the year, and various other elements that go with general running costs of a business. So members who typically choose to bring their own wine, it's not so much necessarily because our wine's expensive, but if you're playing golf 3-4 times a week and buying a bottle of wine or 2 every time you play can get costly. So some of our members do prefer to bring their own and pay the very sort of generous corkage fee that we make available to them. And also, some of our members are wine connoisseurs and they are fine lovers of fine wine. So sometimes are not always in agreement with our wine list, even though James has put a lot of effort into creating a wine list, which I think is absolutely the best I've seen in my time here. James worked very closely with Ben from Som Wines and other major wine distributors to South Australia. So I think what we've got at the moment is really good. And also you'll note that we're trying as much as possible now to pair those wines with meals at discounted prices. We try to have a promotional wine of the month or the week at better prices. And then when twilight season rolls around and the summer season rolls around, there'll be a lot of promotions around wine. So, David, thanks for your question. Always good to get your feedback. All right, so the next one is for Damian Hine, head chef. And it is from Anonymous. Along with many other female members, I'm wondering why the lunch menu seems to have forgotten us regarding meals on offer. Would it be possible to reintroduce a couple of salads? The smoked salmon bruschetta was so delicious, as was the loved Thai squid salad. I agree. It's pretty boring to have a choice of egg, chicken, ham sandwiches. So, Damien, I'm going to hand that over to you.
Thanks for your question. Look, I feel sorry that you feel like the ladies are being neglected. I don't think that they have. It is winter, so we have reduced the amount of salads that we are selling. We put on things like the cheese and chive omelets to try and accommodate for a nicer, warmer sort of atmosphere for the ladies. We've got a warm salt and pepper chicken salad. We've got Mediterranean salads that you can have with grilled chicken or with smoked salmon. So there's a little bit there. We will be reintroducing fresher salads and more salads come summer. Once we're halfway through spring into summer, we'll be introducing a new menu with more summer light offerings for the ladies. With regards to the chicken and the ham and cheese sandwiches, It's something that I inherited when I came to Mount Osmond Golf Club, and I didn't want to do anything too drastic to change with the menu straight off. So it's all gradual. It's all going to take time for me to understand what the members want, and also for the members to accommodate with changing of menus and changing of staff. So hopefully within summer you'll see a different change to the menu.
Yeah, and just to add to Damian's point, I mean, if you look at the turnover and the spend per head on Wednesdays, which is particularly our women's day of play, what's been very impressive to see is that the spend per head's actually gone up, and so has the average turnover of Wednesdays. So although there might be some feelings, particularly in this case, that women have been forgotten, they certainly are being more supportive of purchasing menu items off the menu or from our daily specials board. So Damian, to you and your team, I think you've done a great job in playing in that area of our offering Wednesdays, particularly. I think you've engaged a lot in conversation with many of the women that play on Wednesdays. So have you, James. So I really think we're just going to go from strength to strength. This is also the first time that we've had continuity and longevity over the last 2 years and a head chef that's sticking it out. And the longer Damian's here, the more he gets to understand the trends and what our members are wanting to enjoy from a culinary side. And same with James. The more time he's here, the more he's going to engage and just start to refine that offering and really just get it narrowed down to not only winter and summer, but also days of the week and our specific target audience and demographic of members. So thanks for that question, Anonymous. We're going to now move to back to Ray Diamond. Can we make Thursday comp compulsory? We did tap on it a little bit briefly, but Ray, if you want to just say a few words on that.
Thanks, Anonymous. At the moment, we have 5 compulsory competitions throughout the year: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for twilight, Saturday and Sunday. So when we looked at this, we thought having another compulsory competition was maybe just a step too far on the members.
Okay, next up we've got the lovely Heather Burford asking a question to Barry. And this is her question or her comment. Let's just say comment for now. Nearly every player is complaining about a good second shot being penalised by running off and into the garden path, landing on second tee block or worse. Every round the comment is passed, when will this issue be addressed and some banking put into place to solve this constant problem? Also slows the pace of play, Heather Burford, plus most of my playing partners over many rounds. All right, thanks, Heather. I'm going to now pass the mic over to Barry.
Thanks, Heather. Look, over many years, we have increased the irrigation down that right-hand side of the first. Increasing the bank size increases the steepness on the other side. So that if we can get better turf quality, we'll raise the mowing height a bit, and that will help retain balls. But we have had a real issue with the irrigation on that hole, and that hasn't helped kind of with the kind of turf quality. So I'm hoping with a new irrigation system, better turf quality, better ball retention, and that will stop kind of a lot of the issues. But it is a fair slope for a first hole, which is not ideal, but hopefully with a few minor improvements we can solve these problems.
Okay, so we've hit the end of our formal proposed questions. Thank you to those members that took the time to put their questions forward. I think it's important for us to engage in this open communication, for it to be a two-way street. And although we communicate now more than ever via the Oracle, through our website, through committees, etc., we really encourage members to come to us directly as heads of department, but also individually. Our office doors are always open for you, and we really welcome the feedback. So I thought I'd just, whilst we finish with Barry, I'm just gonna ask a couple of questions that I think are on top of members' minds for Barry just while he's here, and then maybe one or two others to Damian and James. So there's one of the questions I get asked about quite often from members is the new tee box that was built on hole 12. Um, the obvious drainage issues that occur there. Obviously, you've got a 45 plus degree incline, so all drainage is naturally going to gravitate towards the tee box, and also what our plans are for that area long term. So if you can maybe just address those a little bit, I think that would be great.
Yeah, look, the 12th tee box has been a bit of a nightmare. The sand we put down was a bit heavier than kind of what we normally use, so that held the moisture in a lot more than what we'd hoped. So what we're intending to do is we'll sod cut that area out, put some more drainage in, and we are intending to flatten out behind that 12th tee block and put a new back tee in behind there as well. But the main thing is use a bit better draining sand that we got from the pit last time. Put plenty more drainage in, and hopefully with the back tee, we'll take a bit of pressure off that front tee as well. So we'll redo that whole area with new drainage, new sand, new turf, and a new tee, and it should come up all right, hopefully. So.
Thanks, Baz. While we're on hole 12, just obviously last year we started additional drainage down the first part of the fairway on hole 12. Obviously, our plan last year was to do the entire hole. We ran out of time before we got into winter. So if you could just talk a little bit more about intended plans for phase 2 of that drainage, a little bit more about the plans for the fairway and the bridge area, just so that members can kind of feel what's coming there.
Okay, yeah, with that middle section of the 12th fairway, we're happy with the drainage that happened at the front of it. We haven't had a real bad winter this year compared to the last couple, but we're happy with that. What we intend to do is put more drainage in that centre little creek sort of area of that middle section and put some drainage through there, fill up that creek section with a lot of sand, and then turf that so it's a lot flatter sort of landing area instead of sort of a creek system. So I think that will improve the drainage, turf quality, and the playability of the hole.
Okay, Baz, last question. On the golf course side, something that I get asked often is, what's happening with the second tee box? Why does it never get grass coverage? We know the reasons. Maybe if we could just share a little bit with our members as to what we're dealing with there in terms of organic growth.
Yeah, that second tee's been a bit of a problem over a lot of years, especially since we kind of made a path through there to take materials up when we were doing the second. So it didn't get the probably love it needed once we got rid of that path through the tee. So we're in the midst of doing a new design for that tee. The whole area needs kind of to be reshaped and a new path, so better access from the first green to the second tee. Plus the trees, the biggest thing is shade. We need the trees thinned out to let a lot more sunlight in. That's the main issue that we've got down there.
Thanks, Baz, for those insights. I've had the privilege of working in a number of golf clubs in the past, also traveling around, to various sites and many golf courses. And I can honestly say that Mount Osmond Golf Course is the most challenging site that I've ever seen in terms of a golf course. infrastructure around it, slopes, bedrock clay underneath, floor design in some areas, regards to bunkers, greens complexes, drainage. So, it's a miracle we have a golf course on top of this hill, and B, it's a miracle we play it every day. So it's not a normal golf club. It's difficult to compare it to another golf club that's A, on a sand bolt, or B, on a flatter piece of land. So I think a lot of our members sympathize with the challenge you have on a daily basis, and we just thank you for everything you and the team do. So we're going to close out with one last question to Damian Hine, our head chef. So 18 months ago, the only thing that really existed on our menus was baguettes and a couple of pastas, and some deep fried chicken, and maybe the occasional beer battered fish and chips. So one of the things that I was tasked with and mandated to improve at the club was A, the quality of food, B, the consistency of food, and C, increase the spend per head over a course of a 12-month cycle, so that we as a club could at best break even on food and beverage, and kind of even a small loss was accepted. Last year, as many of you know, we pierced the 30,000 surplus in food and beverage, and I believe that that's a combination of ticking all three of those boxes, but not stopping there, continuing to grow the quality of our menu, to introduce new dishes that members want to experience on a day-to-day basis. And with that comes obviously the quality of goods. With quality of goods comes price. And as Mount Osmond Golf Club, we're not exempt from the cost of living crisis that exists out there, the inflationary costs that exist in Australia. So we're not exempt. I think a lot of times golf clubs and the members of golf clubs feel that, because they pay membership dues, everything should be kind of included, or as close to kind of break even in terms of markups and things like that. But if members generally want Mount Osmond Golf Club's food and beverage section to at least break even and show a small profit, we have to continue to price correctly, and we have to continue to use ingredients and products that match what's expected. So, Damon, if you can just talk a little bit about what you've done in terms of menu creation, what you've done to improve all those ingredients that you're sourcing, but also some of the challenges you face. I know we're running at a cost of goods of 55%, so we are definitely giving good quality, good portions, and it's not all profit for us. So if you could maybe just explain some of the challenges you go through, some of the increases you faced, and how you plan to combat that.
Thanks, Damian. Look, with cost of goods and everything like that, there is an increase in price over at general of everyday purchases. People notice that. Unfortunately, with us, with the hospitality industry, we do get a little bit cheaper than the general public, but not much. It's pretty well on par if you go to your cheapest produce buying. Look, the quality that we strive for is mostly hitting for the local Australian and South Australian produce. We try not to use any imported seafood, any imported products as much as we can, unless there's no supply in Australia or very short supply at expense. The quality that I choose, if you start off with a good quality product, you'll end up with a good quality product. The cost of everything is going up, as everyone knows. We try and maintain good quality. We're giving you MSA beef fillet. We're giving you moisture infused pork cutlets. We're giving you fresh Atlantic salmon. So we're using the best quality products that we can. Unfortunately, that does come at an expense, but I'd rather use that than poor quality for the members.
Thank you, Damian, for that answer. I just want to say to the many hundreds of members that support our restaurant on a day-to-day basis, honestly, we thank you, because if it wasn't for your support, we just wouldn't be able to have a team that is as skilled as the team we have right now, and B, deliver the quality of food that we know the Mount Osmond brand deserves. We don't want to be known as a corner deli or a cafe. We want to be known as a restaurant that members are proud to come and bring their families, their friends, for visiting golfers to come and experience and be like, wow, that is amazing. And the feedback that we get from visiting golfers is incredible. And that just, gives us energy and spurs us to carry on and do more. So thank you to every single one of you that supported us last financial year, which resulted in a small profit. And this year, we're hoping for more than that. And without you, we cannot do it. So please continue to support us. So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our fireside chat. To you, Ray, James, Damian, Barry, thank you for your time. I know the members appreciate it. We'd love to do more of these. We're going to load this chat onto our YouTube page. We'll link it in our Oracle. Hopefully, you guys listen to it, you watch it, and keep the questions coming. We love to answer your questions. We love to share insights into what we're doing behind the scenes, and we want to bring you on the journey with us. So we're here to serve you as members. We want to do it as best as we can. So your input and your feedback to us really helps us in our roles. Thank you.